Every great journey begins as a whisper in the soul, a glimmer of light in the darkness of ordinary thought. My big idea is not merely a concept. It is an extension of the self, a projection of the unconscious into reality. It is the soul calling through the veil of daily existence, urging me to awaken, to act, and to create. This idea, like all great archetypes, is born from the shadow and the light. It emerges where fear meets longing, where chaos confronts order. It asks nothing less than total surrender. Surrender not of the mind, but of the fragmented self, so that the totality may speak through me. The path of my big idea is not easy. It will encounter resistance, both from within and from the world. For ideas are reflections of inner truths. The more profound the truth, the more the world resists it. Yet, in the resistance lies the alchemy of transformation. Every obstacle is a mirror, revealing my own limitations, my own unconscious patterns, my own unclaimed power. I will not pursue my big idea for wealth, fame, or comfort. I will pursue it because it is inevitable, because the self demands its manifestation. In its pursuit, I will integrate my shadows, embrace my contradictions, and recognize the eternal dialogue between the conscious and the unconscious. My big idea is a bridge between what is and what could be. It is the articulation of the archetypes, a manifestation of the collective unconscious that seeks expression through the individual. It is not mine alone. It belongs to the world, and yet it cannot exist without me daring to claim it. I will honor my big idea by acting courageously, by listening deeply, and by daring to confront the chaos within and without. I will nurture it as one nurtures a seed that must grow into a tree whose roots touch the unseen depths of the psyche. And in the end, whether it flourishes or falters, my big idea will have revealed me to myself, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary, the personal into the collective, and the fleeting into the eternal. Every idea is a projection of the unconscious, a spark that rises from the depths of the psyche long before the conscious mind can grasp it. What you call an idea is not born in the realm of logic or reason. It is shaped in silence, in the hidden currents of the soul where images, symbols, and forgotten impressions intertwine. The unconscious works tirelessly, weaving together fragments of memory, desires unspoken, fears unresolved, and archetypal patterns that belong not only to you but to the collective history of humankind. When an idea emerges, it is the unconscious revealing itself through you, choosing you as a vessel of expression. To honor this is to recognize that every idea carries a piece of your inner truth, a reflection of what you have not yet fully known about yourself. It is more than a thought, it is a message from the depths, a seed planted by the self, urging you to bring into light what was hidden in shadow. The self communicates through dreams and intuition, speaking in a language older than words. Dreams are the theater of the unconscious, where symbols take form and archetypes reveal themselves in images that logic cannot contain. In the stillness of sleep, the deeper layers of the psyche arrange stories, guiding you toward truths that the waking mind resists. Intuition, on the other hand, is the whisper of that same self in daylight. Sudden knowing, a pull toward a path without rational explanation, a sense that something beyond your reasoning is guiding you. Both dreams and intuition are bridges between the conscious and the unconscious, pathways where the hidden wisdom of the soul surfaces to guide your steps. To ignore them is to deny the compass within, but to heed them is to align with the deeper order of your being. Through these channels, the self does not merely inform you. It transforms you, shaping your choices, revealing your shadows, and pointing you ever closer to wholeness. Shadow and light birth innovation, for creation is never born from comfort alone. The shadow holds what we fear, repress, and deny, while the light reveals what we embrace, celebrate, and make visible. When these two forces collide within us, tension arises. And it is within this tension that new possibilities are forged. Innovation does not come from pure brightness, nor from pure darkness, but from their union, their dialogue, their struggle. The shadow brings raw energy, untamed instincts, and hidden truths, while the light gives them form, direction, and purpose. Together, they create the alchemy of originality. Every great breakthrough in art, science, or life has been born from confronting what is hidden and daring to bring it into the light. To deny the shadow is to lose depth, to deny the light is to lose clarity. But to hold both, to let them speak to each other within you, is to open the gateway to true creativity, the kind that does not merely repeat the old but ushers in the new. Resistance is a mirror, not an enemy. for it reflects the hidden corners of the psyche that have not yet been embraced. When you feel resistance rising within you, hesitation, fear, self-doubt, it is not life trying to block you. It is your unconscious asking to be seen. Resistance points toward the very place where growth is waiting, where the self has planted seeds of transformation. It is a signal, not a punishment. Too often, people treat resistance as a wall to be shattered, but in truth, it is a mirror held up to show you your unclaimed strength, your unresolved wounds, and the parts of your shadow that long for integration. Every time you confront resistance, you are not battling an external enemy. You are meeting yourself. And when you understand this, resistance transforms from an obstacle into a teacher, guiding you into deeper awareness and greater power. To honor resistance is to honor the dialogue between your conscious will and your unconscious truth, for only in that meeting can your path become whole. Big ideas emerge from chaos, for chaos is the womb of creation. When the old structures collapse, when certainty dissolves, and when the familiar no longer holds meaning, something new begins to stir in the depths of the psyche. Chaos is frightening because it strips away control, but it is also sacred, for it opens the space where imagination can breathe freely. In the disorder of thoughts, emotions, and experiences, hidden patterns begin to take shape, revealing insights that could never be born in order alone. Every great breakthrough has first passed through confusion. Every new vision has been carved from the rubble of what once was. To resist chaos is to cling to the past. To embrace it is to welcome the birth of the future. In chaos lies not destruction but possibility, not emptiness but infinite potential. To stand in the storm without fleeing is to allow the fragments of your being to rearrange themselves into a greater wholeness. From that sacred storm, your big idea emerges, wild, raw, and alive. Courage is the path of individuation, for no one can become whole without first daring to walk through fear. To individuate is to step away from the collective noise, to face the unknown within, and to live in alignment with the truth of your own soul. Such a journey cannot be taken by the timid, for the unconscious holds not only light but also shadows that unsettle and terrify. Courage is required to look into the depths of yourself and not turn away, to embrace contradictions, to admit to wounds, and to claim the parts of your being that society, family, or even your own mind has rejected. Individuation is not about comfort, it is about authenticity. It demands that you stand firm when doubt whispers, when others misunderstand you, and when the path feels unbearably lonely. Yet each act of courage peels away illusion and brings you closer to your true center, the self. To live courageously is to allow the eternal within you to shine through the temporary shell of fear, and in doing so, to walk the only path that leads to real freedom. Ideas belong to both the self and the collective, for no thought is born in isolation. Every idea that rises within you is shaped not only by your personal experience, but also by the great reservoir of the collective unconscious, the timeless storehouse of humanity's symbols, struggles, and dreams. When you conceive a new vision, it carries your voice, your story, your individuality, yet at the same time it resonates with truths that reach far beyond you. This is why a single idea can inspire thousands, even millions, because it touches something universal that lives in every soul. The personal gives it flavor, but the collective gives it power. To recognize this is to understand that your idea is not merely yours to keep hidden. It is meant to be shared, expressed, and brought into form, so that others may see themselves reflected in it. When you give life to your idea, you contribute to the evolution of the collective psyche, weaving your thread into the vast tapestry of human meaning. Thus, every idea is both an intimate confession of the self and a gift to the world. Creativity demands surrender, not control, for true creation cannot be forced into rigid forms. The ego longs to dictate, to plan every step, to hold mastery over the unknown. But creativity belongs to a deeper source, one that cannot be commanded. To create is to allow the unconscious to speak through you, to trust the flow of images, feelings, and impulses that rise without explanation. When you surrender, you open the channel for something larger than yourself to move through you. When you cling to control, you choke the very life out of inspiration. The greatest works of art, the most profound innovations, are born not from domination but from openness, from a willingness to be surprised by what emerges. Surrender does not mean passivity. It means becoming an instrument for the self, a vessel for archetypal energy that wishes to manifest in form. The act of creation is less about imposing order and more about listening, allowing, and shaping what has already been given. To create is to bow before the mystery and let it guide your hands. Integration of opposites fuels innovation, for it is in the union of contradictions that new life is born. Within every person lives a duality: light and shadow, reason and intuition, masculine and feminine, order and chaos. Alone, each side remains incomplete, but when they meet, something greater than both arises. Innovation does not come from clinging to one pole while rejecting the other. It comes from daring to hold the tension between them until a third, unexpected possibility emerges. This is the essence of alchemy, the transmutation of base matter into gold, of conflict into creation. To integrate opposites is to recognize that wholeness is not achieved by choosing sides but by reconciling them within. Every great idea carries within it this marriage structure infused with freedom, clarity infused with mystery, logic infused with imagination. When you allow opposing forces to dance instead of divide, you invite the birth of forms the world has never seen before. True innovation is not the triumph of one side over another. It is the child born of their sacred union. The unconscious conspires with purpose, weaving invisible threads that guide you toward the life you are meant to live. While the conscious mind plans, calculates, and seeks certainty, the unconscious moves in silence, arranging symbols, encounters, and synchronicities that nudge you toward meaning. It is as if a deeper intelligence within you knows the path long before you do, whispering through dreams, subtle feelings, and sudden coincidences that seem too precise to be random. Purpose is not simply something you invent. It is something that unfolds, revealed step by step as you learn to listen to the inner currents shaping your life. The unconscious, when ignored, may appear as chaos or resistance, but when honored, it reveals itself as a guiding force. To align with it is to step into the flow of destiny, where your efforts feel supported by something greater than your will alone. In truth, every great idea, every authentic calling, is not just a product of thought. It is the unconscious conspiring with purpose, urging you to become who you truly are. Fear signals the threshold of growth, for it appears whenever you stand at the doorway to transformation. Fear is not a sign that you must turn back. It is the guardian of the threshold, testing your readiness to step into a larger version of yourself. It arises when you are about to leave behind the familiar, when you approach the unknown territory where your old identity no longer suffices. Too often, fear is mistaken for a warning to retreat, when in truth it is an invitation to advance. Through every big idea, every act of individuation requires passing through fear, for growth is never found in comfort. Fear shows you precisely where your soul wishes to expand, pointing like a compass toward the next chapter of your becoming. To face fear with courage is to dissolve its power and unlock the hidden energy it conceals. Beyond fear lies freedom, and beyond the trembling lies the discovery of your greater self. Fear does not close the path. It marks the very place where the path begins. True ideas are reflections of eternal archetypes, for they are not born from fleeting whims or shallow desires, but from the timeless patterns that shape human existence. Archetypes are the great images of the collective unconscious. The hero, the mother, the creator, the seeker. And when an idea resonates deeply, it is because it carries the echo of one of these eternal forms. Such ideas endure because they are not bound to one culture, one age, or one individual. They speak to something universal within us all. When you encounter a true idea, it feels both profoundly new and strangely familiar, as though it has always existed, waiting for you to give it shape. To bring such an idea into the world is not merely an act of invention. It is an act of recognition, a bringing forth of what was already present in the deep structure of the psyche. The greater the alignment with archetypal truth, the more power an idea holds, for it becomes more than personal. It becomes mythic, a living symbol that awakens the collective soul. True ideas are reflections of eternal archetypes, for they do not simply arise from the surface mind or from fleeting trends, but from the timeless structures that dwell in the depths of the collective unconscious. Archetypes are the primordial patterns of thought and imagination, the eternal blueprints of human experience that shape our myths, our dreams, and our destinies. When a true idea emerges, it carries within it the resonance of these archetypes. It is not entirely yours, nor is it entirely new. It is as if the soul of humanity itself has chosen to speak through you, giving form to something that has always existed in potential. This is why such ideas feel both astonishingly fresh and hauntingly familiar. They awaken memory, stir emotion, and strike chords deep within the heart, because they belong to all of us. To bring forth such an idea is to act as a vessel for the universal. The creator archetype flows through you when you invent, the hero when you persevere, the sage when you illuminate truth. Your big idea, if it is rooted in archetypal essence, becomes more than a personal project. It becomes a living symbol, a mirror of humanity's shared story. That is why true ideas endure across generations and cultures. They are not bound by time, for they rise from eternity. To nurture such an idea is to honor both your individual self and the collective psyche, carrying forward a flame that has burned since the beginning of consciousness itself. Obstacles reveal inner truths, for every barrier you encounter in the outer world mirrors a hidden struggle within. Life places difficulties in your path not to punish you, but to illuminate the parts of yourself that remain unseen. When you meet resistance, delays, or failure, the temptation is to believe the world is against you. But in truth, these obstacles are reflections of your own unconscious patterns, fears, and unclaimed strengths. Each challenge is a messenger, carrying a lesson that cannot be learned in comfort. Perhaps it shows you the shadow you have denied, the wound you have ignored, or the courage you have yet to claim. If you run from obstacles, you run from yourself, but if you face them with openness, they have become guides that lead you deeper into self-knowledge. Every great achievement is born not by avoiding difficulties, but by transforming them into stepping stones. The mountain outside is the mountain within, and to climb it is to discover the strength, wisdom, and wholeness that were always waiting in the depths of your soul. The pursuit of an idea is the pursuit of the self, for every genuine idea that calls to you is more than a thought. It is a summons from the depths of your being. To chase an idea is not merely to build, invent, or create. It is to follow the thread of your own becoming, to uncover the hidden layers of who you are. An idea emerges from the unconscious as a spark, but in bringing it into the world, you undergo a transformation. The obstacles you face, the doubts you wrestle with, the moments of clarity and despair. All of these mirror your inner landscape. In striving to manifest the idea, you are at the same time shaping and refining yourself. The more you nurture it, the more it reveals not only what you are capable of, but also who you are destined to become. Thus, the journey of an idea is never separate from the journey of individuation. To pursue what your soul longs to express is to walk the path toward wholeness, where creation and self-discovery are one and the same. Action transforms potential into reality, for an idea, no matter how radiant, remains only a shadow until it is given form through movement. The psyche is rich with symbols, visions, and possibilities, but without action they remain locked within the realm of the unreal, like seeds left unplanted. Action is the bridge between the unconscious and the world, the sacred step where thought becomes flesh, where the invisible takes on shape and weight. To act is to honor the message of the self, to declare that what stirs within is worthy of existence outside. Many people wait for perfect clarity before they move, yet it is movement itself that brings clarity. Each step forward reshapes the idea, teaches the dreamer, and draws the unseen into the scene. Without action, potential becomes a burden. With action, it becomes creation. The courage to act is the moment where destiny begins to unfold, for only through doing can you awaken the hidden power of what lives within you. Vision must precede manifestation, for nothing in the outer world can come into being unless it is first born in the inner world. The mind, like a womb of imagination, holds the image of what could be long before it takes shape in matter. Every great creation, every invention, every movement in history began as vision. An inner picture, a symbol, a dream carried within someone who dared to see what was not yet visible. To hold a vision is to converse with possibility, to look beyond the limits of the present and glimpse the outline of a future waiting to be claimed. Without vision, action becomes aimless. With vision, even the smallest action becomes charged with purpose. The clearer the vision, the stronger its magnetic pull upon reality, for the unconscious aligns itself with the image it is fed. Manifestation is not magic. It is the natural unfolding of a vision tended with faith, discipline, and courage. To see with the inner eye is the first step towards shaping the outer world, for only those who dare to envision can ever bring forth the new. The personal and collective are intertwined, for no life unfolds in isolation. What you think of as your private struggles, your individual dreams, And your hidden fears are also threads in the vast fabric of humanity. Your joys echo archetypal patterns of joy lived for millennia, and your sorrows mirror the same griefs carried by countless souls before you. When you grow, the collective grows. When you heal a wound in the greater body of humankind. This is why your ideas and creations matter, because they are never solely yours. The unconscious is not confined within the walls of the individual mind. It stretches outward into the collective unconscious, where symbols and truths are shared by all. When you dare to bring forth what lives in your depths, you awaken something in others, stirring what they too carry but may not yet recognize. Thus, the boundary between the personal and the collective is an illusion. Your inner journey shapes the outer world, and the evolution of the world, in turn, shapes you. To honor your individuality is to serve the whole, for the two are eternally bound together. Intuition often precedes logic in creation, for the first spark of a true idea rarely arrives dressed in reason. It comes instead as a whisper, a sudden image, a subtle pull that cannot yet be explained. Intuition is the voice of the unconscious breaking through the veil of thought, offering glimpses of patterns before the rational mind can arrange them. Logic follows later, building structures and frameworks, giving clarity and order. But the seed itself is planted by intuition. To ignore this inner guidance is to cut yourself off from the wellspring of creativity, for the unconscious often knows what the conscious mind cannot yet perceive. History's greatest breakthroughs, whether in art, science, or philosophy, were not born from calculation alone, but from a flash of insight, a dream, a vision that seemed unreasonable at first. Intuition lights the way into the unknown, and reason follows with the tools to shape it. To create is to honor this sacred order, first to trust the quiet whisper within, then to let logic serve as the hands that bring it into form. Big ideas challenge existing paradigms, for they do not come to reinforce what is already known, but to disrupt, to question, and to reimagine the foundations upon which the present is built. Paradigms are the invisible walls of collective thought. Beliefs and structures so deeply ingrained that they appear absolute, unchangeable. Yet every great idea, every leap forward in human history, has emerged as a disturbance within that apparent solidity. To carry a big idea is often to feel the weight of misunderstanding, resistance, even rejection, because what you are bringing forth threatens the comfort of the familiar. But this is precisely its power, to reveal that truth is larger than current assumptions, that life holds possibilities beyond the boundaries of accepted thought. Innovation is never polite, it unsettles, it breaks, it rearranges. A big idea insists that we see differently, that we risk stepping into uncertainty, that we abandon the safety of old maps to explore uncharted territory. To honor such an idea is to accept the role of the challenger, the visionary who dares to disturb so that the collective may awaken to new horizons. One must confront one's shadow to innovate, for the parts of ourselves we deny or repress often hold the very energy needed to create something new. The shadow is not only darkness and fear, it is also unused potential, raw vitality, and untapped imagination. When you turn away from it, you cut yourself off from half of your own power. Innovation demands that you face this hidden side, to encounter the uncomfortable truths, the impulses you would rather ignore, the emotions you have buried. Within these neglected aspects of the psyche lie insights and forces that can break through the limitations of conventional thought. Many of history's greatest creators and visionaries drew strength from their willingness to descend into their own shadows, to wrestle with inner conflict, and to transform that struggle into art, discovery, or invention. To innovate is not to polish only what is acceptable, it is to dive into what is rejected, chaotic, or feared, and to return with treasures unseen by those who remain on the surface. By confronting the shadow, you liberate creativity that has long been imprisoned, and in doing so, you give birth to what is truly original. Inspiration is the voice of the deeper self, speaking in a language that bypasses reason and awakens the heart. It does not come from the restless chatter of the ego, but from the wellspring of the unconscious, where archetypes dwell and timeless wisdom resides. When inspiration strikes, it feels like a sudden illumination, a knowing that arrives whole, without explanation, as if a hidden part of you has been waiting to be heard. It is the self calling you to step closer to your true path, urging you to express what only you can bring into the world. Inspiration is not random, it is guidance. It reveals itself in moments of stillness, in the symbols of dreams, in synchronicities too precise to dismiss. To ignore it is to silence the soul, to honor it is to participate in the unfolding of your destiny. The greatest works of creation are not manufactured by force. They are born by listening to this inner voice, and allowing it to flow through you unimpeded. Inspiration is not merely a spark of creativity. It is the self reminding you of who you are meant to become. The soul demands expression, for it cannot remain silent without withering. Deep within, there is a longing to be seen, to be heard, to give form to the inner truth that stirs restlessly in the unconscious. This demand is not a luxury, not an optional pursuit. It is the very essence of being human. When the soul is denied expression, it grows restless, sending signals of discontent, anxiety, emptiness, a sense that life is hollow or incomplete. But when you dare to express what lives within, whether through words, art, invention, service, or the shaping of your destiny, a deep harmony is restored. Expression is how the invisible becomes visible, how the eternal finds its way into time, how the inner world meets the outer. The soul does not ask whether the world approves or understands. It asks only that you be faithful to the call within. To give voice to the soul is to live authentically, to align with the self, and to participate in the unfolding of creation itself. In silence, soul suffers, but in expression it comes alive and brings the world alive with it. Ideas grow strongest when nurtured, not forced, for they are like seeds, alive, delicate, and requiring the right conditions to flourish. When an idea first arrives, it is fragile, still taking shape within the unconscious. To force it prematurely, to demand immediate perfection, is to crush its potential before it has had the chance to root itself deeply. Nurturing means giving space, patience, and attention, allowing the idea to breathe, to evolve, to surprise you as it reveals more of itself over time. Just as a gardener waters, protects, and tends the soil, so too must you cultivate your vision with care rather than control. Ideas grow in moments of reflection, in dialogue with your imagination, in the quiet persistence of daily effort. When nurtured, they gain strength, clarity, and resilience. When forced, they become rigid, shallow, and lifeless. The greatest creations emerge not from pressure alone but from devotion, patience, and trust in the natural rhythm of growth. An idea becomes powerful not when you dominate it, but when you serve as its guardian, allowing it to unfold in its own destined way. Creativity is a dialogue between conscious and unconscious, a sacred conversation where two realms of the psyche meet. The unconscious provides the raw material, symbols, images, instincts, and archetypal patterns, while the conscious mind shapes, refines, and gives them form in the world. One without the other is incomplete. If you rely only on the unconscious, your visions remain chaotic, unstructured, and fleeting. If you rely only on the conscious, your work becomes sterile, predictable, and lifeless. But when they are allowed to converse, something extraordinary emerges. The unconscious offers depth, originality, and mystery, while the conscious contributes clarity, discipline, and direction. Creativity, then, is not about domination of one side over the other, but about listening, balancing, and translating what arises from the depths into language the world can receive. Every true act of creation is born from this partnership. The dreamer within you whispers, and the maker within you responds. To create is to stand at the threshold where inner and outer worlds meet, honoring both the wildness of the soul and the order of the mind. The greatest risks hold the greatest rewards, for nothing truly transformative is ever achieved without stepping into uncertainty. Risk is the price of creation, the threshold you must cross to move from the known into the unknown. To risk is to expose yourself, to failure, to rejection, to the possibility that your idea may crumble. Yet it is precisely in this exposure that the greatest treasures are hidden. Playing safe may preserve comfort, but it cannot awaken greatness. Every heroic journey begins with the courage to risk leaving the familiar behind, to trust that what lies beyond fear is worth the leap. The unconscious does not reward hesitation, it rewards boldness, for boldness signals faith in the deeper self. Risk awakens energies within you that remain dormant when you cling to security. And though the outcome can never be guaranteed, the act of risking itself is transformative. You emerge stronger, freer, and closer to your authentic self. The richest rewards, whether in creation or in life, are reserved for those who dare to step beyond safety and trust the vast unknown. Self-knowledge is the fuel for innovation, for you cannot bring forth something truly original unless you first come to know the depths of your own being. Many seek new ideas only in the outer world, in books, in trends, in the voices of others. But the richest source lies within, in the unexplored chambers of the psyche. To know yourself is to uncover the hidden motives, desires, and fears that shape your choices. It is to confront the shadow as well as embrace the light. Every discovery about yourself expands your creative power, for the more you understand your inner world, the more you can draw from it. Innovation is not just the invention of new forms. It is the expression of inner truths that have not yet been given voice. Without self-knowledge, ideas remain shallow, imitative, or borrowed, but with it, they gain depth, authenticity, and transformative strength. The journey inward provides the energy that fuels outward creation. To innovate, therefore, is not simply to look ahead, but also to look within. For it is only by knowing yourself that you can offer the world something it has never seen before. Transformation is the natural outcome of bold ideas, for no daring vision can leave the dreamer unchanged. When you commit to a bold idea, you enter into a covenant with the self. It will not only reshape the world around you, it will also reshape you from within. Bold ideas demand courage, perseverance, and the willingness to confront resistance. And in that process you are forced to grow into someone larger than you were before. You cannot pursue a vision that challenges paradigms, awakens the collective, or brings light from the depths of the unconscious without being transformed in the process. Each obstacle you face, each doubt you overcome, each step you take into the unknown carves away what is false and reveals what is true. In striving to give life to your idea, you undergo your own rebirth. This is why bold ideas are sacred. They do not simply create change outside, they create metamorphosis inside. The one who begins the journey is never the same as the one who completes it, for through bold creation, the soul remembers its own wholeness. Every idea carries a hidden responsibility, for it is never born solely for the individual. It also belongs to the collective. When an idea arrives, it comes with weight, with purpose, with an invisible demand to be honored. To receive an idea is to be entrusted with something larger than yourself. A spark of meaning drawn from the depths of the unconscious or even from the eternal archetypes. The responsibility lies not only in developing it, but in embodying the integrity required to bring it forth. Too often, people crave the glory of ideas without recognizing the duty that accompanies them, the duty to nurture, to refine, sacrifice comfort for growth, and to face resistance without surrendering. An idea is not merely a possession, it is a call to action. To ignore it is to deny the self, and to misuse it is to distort its sacred potential. True responsibility means asking, why has this idea chosen me? What truth must I serve through it? When you accept this hidden responsibility, the idea becomes more than inspiration. It becomes destiny. To manifest a big idea is to manifest a deeper truth of existence, for every great vision is more than a personal ambition. It is a revelation of something eternal longing to take form in time. When you bring an idea into reality, you are not simply creating a product, a project, or a plan. You are giving shape to a truth that already lived within the archetypal patterns of the psyche. The act of manifestation is therefore sacred. It bridges the invisible with the visible, the timeless with the temporal, the unconscious with the conscious. To manifest is to declare to the world, this truth exists, and it deserves to live among us. Such truths are not shallow or fleeting. They carry the essence of the self, the voice of the soul, and the wisdom of the collective unconscious. The responsibility of manifestation is to remain faithful to this deeper truth, not to distort it for comfort, convenience, or approval. In birthing a big idea, you participate in the ongoing creation of the universe itself, aligning your life with something greater than survival or success. You align it with meaning. Every big idea is more than a thought. It is a summons, a call from the depths of the self to step into wholeness. To walk with your idea is to walk with your soul, to honor the archetypal patterns that guide humanity forward. The journey will demand courage, sacrifice, and the willingness to confront both shadow and light, but in doing so, you do not only manifest a vision, you manifest your true self. Remember, the world does not need copies, it needs originals. The collective waits for the spark only you can bring, the truth only you can embody. Do not let fear silence your soul. Do not let comfort bury your calling. Your big idea is not an accident, it is your invitation to participate in creation itself. And when you dare to honor it, you will discover that the greatest idea you can ever bring forth is the unfolding of who you were always meant to be.